Good morning, church. I hope you are well today. I was just thinking about Job in the Bible and how he was blameless and upright. Satan thought that he was that way because God had blessed him with a lot of wealth and many servants and 10 kids. So God tested him. He lost a lot and was afflicted with terrible skin sores. His wife tells him to curse God, and his friends tell him that God is punishing him for his sins. Job becomes discouraged and questions God, but refuses to abandon or curse God. In the end, Job prays for his friends and forgives them for questioning his integrity and for not emotionally supporting him. Now, God rewards him by giving him twice as much as he had before and gives him long life. He even sees his descendants to 4 generations. Now, I was just thinking, what can we learn from Job? Number 1, I thought, bad things can happen to good people and even to godly people. And if that's you, God's not punishing you. He loves you and he has a plan for your life. And his plan is to make you more like Jesus. Now, that can play out differently in every person's life. Number 2, God stays with us in the storms of life. He is faithful even when we aren't. It says in the Bible, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. The next thing that I noticed was number 3, which is in the midst of suffering, we can still trust God. He keeps all of his promises for provision, protection, deliverance and healing. Any promises that are not fulfilled in this life will certainly be fulfilled in the next one. It says in the Bible that all of God's promises prove true. He is a shield for all those who look to him for protection. He also works things together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purposes. The 4th point I found was our friends and family can fail us, but God never will. Now, time and again, we see in the Bible where people were abandoned by their family or their friends, and sometimes both. But God stayed and he delivered and helped them. Think about Joseph. He was sold into slavery by his brothers. David was hunted by Saul, his father-in-law. Jeremiah the prophet was ridiculed and imprisoned. God tells us he will never fail us or abandon us. When we can't hear God, he still hears us. That's the 5th point. How many of us have ever prayed for something or thought of something in our hearts, maybe those unspoken prayers, and we never seriously considered that God would answer them? And then we've been surprised, and we shouldn't be surprised, when he has answered us. Because God actually says in his word, I will answer them before they even call to me. While they are still talking about their needs, I will go ahead and answer their needs. Another point that I thought about learning from Job was wisdom comes when we fear God and turn from wrongdoing. The Lord directs the steps of the godly. He delights in every detail of their lives. Even something as small as a detail like praying for a car park at the supermarket. God takes care of every detail if we let him. The 7th point is God is in control. All power belongs to God. Even when it looks and feels like he isn't in control, he is. Sometimes we don't see him act on our behalf until the 11th hour, and that is how he stretches our faith and builds our trust in him. And it's also how he showcases his power and brings himself glory. The 8th and final point, there's probably a lot more, but these are the ones I've drawn out, is when we repent and forgive others and walk in obedience to God, we open our lives and unblock the channels to receive God's abundant blessings. Jesus said, but everyone is more blessed if they hear the word of God and put it into practice. So take heart today. Whether you are in a good place or if you are going through circumstances that look bleak or you're struggling, God is with you, he is for you, and he has your best interests at heart. Have a great day, and May you deepen your faith and trust in God a little bit more today than what you did yesterday. Thank you for listening.